afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero, Psych Defender of the Fatherland, off here to 1 vs 1 on Kholodny Ferma. In the west, we got Caesar fighting for the Oberkommando West, Germany, Deutschland. Fighting here for the 9th Panzer Division. West in the east, we got Zyswen fighting for King and Country, the Commonwealth. Rolling out here with the 7th Armored Division, we got Fortifications, Spec Ops, and Overwatch here for Caesar with Triple Infantry versus Zyswen's Tactical Support, Royal Artillery, and Special Weapons. With Triple Infantry sections frame up north, Sturm Pioneers marching into the section here. Lee Enfield's opening up here, barking away at the advancing Sturm Pioneers who are quick to respond with accurate assault rifle fire. Well, mostly volumers, but somewhat accurate. Getting up close in the section, by the way, not in cover, is not getting in its cover bonus. I mean, the Sturm Pioneers up close in particular are going to absolutely tear the infantry section apart. So Zyswen there is forced to rout his section right away there out of the jaws of danger there from Caesar's approaching Sturm Pioneers. In the centre, Fulters rapidly appearing. We got mostly Fulters there, in fact, for Caesar. 2 squads out so far. 3rd section almost done for Zyswen. Rubal has got tactical support, royalty, of course, special weapons, as I mentioned there. Just one part of me briefly was, did I actually mention that? Did I not? So occasionally might just make those things there, but alright. So an interesting choice he's got there. There's a high potential might go for Royal Artillery. It's certainly been popular with some players, mostly because the new Valentine is kind of, shall we say, easily accessible as a sort of medium-ish tank and can be spammed in large numbers, allowing you to just go heavy in on it. So for some players, they like to go heavy on the Valentines as of late. For the British, of course, it's another type of strategy, so I suppose that should be welcomed, but it can get, I suppose, get a bit tricky to deal with in the early game if they get that fast enough. But anyway, what obviously what ends up with there. Caesar with a 4th Fulton squad out here. His troops being surrounded here by the section around here. Need to retreat soon. Up north, we got a skirmish in here. Sturm Pioneers running off, trying to make it harder for Zyswen to penetrate in. Noting, by the way, Caesar's focusing more on disrupting the early game of his opponent than he actually is in securing fuel. So right now, he is risking falling behind Zyswen and resources, but could maybe incentivize Zyswen here to commit to Valentine tanks versus Caesar in larger numbers. Focusing northwards here, troops standing about. Sturm Pioneer falling back. We got no bolted section there for Zyswen. Fulton Court here need to fall back into cover there, or they need to fall back entirely. Up north, this going to continue. The Sturm Pioneers, I think, are being overextended a bit much here, or pushed too far by Caesar. Low in health, they will not last much longer without some healing and reinforcement. More Fulters there for Caesar. Very heavy infantry build as to what you could go for. Few possibilities here. Fortifications with S-mines and all that. Spare coast with the infiltration tanks. Of course, there's always Overwatch, which of course is very much popular. 4th section away there for Zyswen. So that is a very heavy infantry build he's got going here versus Caesar. We'll have to see what it ends up with. Tactical support maybe, I suppose special weapons also up some lines. But again, there's always the possibility he's just going to go start spamming Valentines, which again has been a reasonably popular strategy with some British players. 4th section almost done for Zyswen, setting out troops there. Grabbing the southern fuel point there, digging in with sandbags as well. We got 6 planking in here though. But in negative contract, there should be easy targets there for the Fulton Grenadiers. We'll have to see how that works out. We got the sections moving from the base here. Zyswen's ready for another major push against the Han. And we got the Fulton flanking section. We got take up there for Caesar. Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper on the way. Truck on the move. Could be a battle group headquarters here. Could be mechanized considering the timing. Battle group headquarters is more likely. And if Zyswen is indeed aiming for Valentine's, mechanized might not be the wisest choice here for Caesar. Again, it's something you very much have to keep in mind now. Is your opponent actually stalling for Valentine's? Or stalling, more like rushing, since there are 5 command points, which is actually not a lot. It's not like, say, you know, stalling for heavy tank, which is at 13 command points. There's a vast difference there in command points and thus timing. So it's very much something you can begin rushing out. It's sort of the new Puma spam. Except it's a tank this time around, which, you know, does mean it's more durable. Back here, take up down there for Zyswen. Platoon command post ready to send some of those boys out to shoot at the Han. Section northwards here, skirmishing there. And again, it could there be tactical support, area supply operations, would give him access to mortars and whatnot. Could also have its advantages. But again, you gotta keep in mind the potential Valentine's spam. I've definitely seen some players go heavy in on it lately in observing matches. Battle group headquarters almost done there for Caesar. And of course, similarly, he could just go heavy on the Jaegers, but if he goes for that, he could get rolled by the Valentines, which will absolutely punish him from going for Jaegers since they do not have any Panzerfaust. But meanwhile though, that and also he's just going for heavy Volksgun. These seems to make Overwatch less likely, so it's either Spec Ops or Fortifications. Section there, there's an overwhelming large amount of Volks this. He's apparently using a bit of a human wave assault there. Troops being routed here by the car pod, still just keeping up harassment against his opponent. Nice play there by Caesar, though again, a bit more cover would be a nice idea versus some of Zyswen's dug-in troops. Zyswen following up with some brave sappers. We'll have to see what happens next. Caesar's committing to an MG34, good choice here versus a British infantry heavy build, since that can help contain them a bit, and of course Zyswen will benefit from the same with the machine as well here to stop up Caesar. Though so far Zyswen is largely relying on just the sheer numbers and raw potency. Looks like Caesar might have briefly considered medics decided against it or something else, hard to say there. Either way, MG34 out. Sturm Pioneers might lay down some medical kits here. Here we go. And with surgical precision, Zyswen lunges at Caesar's car point here, denying access to the fuel. Good play there. Troops reinforcing. Caesar needs to make a fast push here. Back at base. Troops reinforcing. No immediate healing here though for Zyswen. No sign of anything else there. No requisitions happening, anything like that. MU-34 on the scene helping up, carrying the victory point, though obviously not by a lot since it's British at the moment. Caesar's launching a major counterattack here to reclaim the north. That's of course quite important to regain fuel. He can't afford to fall behind the British, and again they could punish him in a lot of ways increasingly. Again, one of them would just simply be a lot of Valentine tanks, which would be very bad news for Caesar. Section now being overwhelmed by the Volks Grenadiers. Might be able to buy some time though since they're on heavy cover. But that is a lot of firing there. We got the MD-54 joining in there. Mine goes off. Up here killing some poor sappers. Zyswen apparently is not bothered with minesweepers. Zyswen is slowly approaching into being only 2 command points away from calling in Valentine's. Again, I'm really wondering if that's going to be the possibility here. My mind is a bit obsessed with it. But again, it could be other things. Bit hard to say with some players. Sappers have right, haven't gotten the minesweepers a bit too late. Vickers on the way there for Zyswen in response to Caesar's infantry builder. Got mines up here as well, though he's going to get cancelled there by the Sturm, or the section coming in back here. Troops reinforcing, healing. Vickers almost done. Sturm Pioneers pushed back into cover and away from their mining. And up north, slow approach here towards the curve point by Caesar. There we go, we've got fortifications. Festung. We'll have to see how much he makes use of that. S-Mark's going to be good. Theoretically, could even go for Flak Emplacements if he wanted to, though. If Valentine's on the menu, Flak Emplacements probably wouldn't do him a lot of good. And would in fact be a bit of a waste of resources. But if not, you know, they could be helping just dealing with some of Zyswen's infantry at a reasonably cost-efficient level and defending crucial points. Of course, he could just as well go for machine gun bunkers or S-Mines for that purpose. Another MG-34 for Caesar. Sniper on the way for Zyswen. Probably to help clear out some of these machine guns. Possibly anticipating for. Either that's going to be a reasonably good choice there. Vickers catching Caesar's unfortunate Volksgun is out in the open. No sign of artillery so far to deal with that. Up north, big push here from Zyswen with 2 sections in samples of minesweepers and a regular section there backing things up with their rifles. In the south, defending the point here. He might just want to lay down S-Mines and move the troops elsewhere. MU-34 being hauled northwards. As Caesar retains an iron grip on the centre here. Though not for much longer. The sniper here should give Caesar a bit of a problem here. He's going to have to find up some other solution to deal with that one. Sturm Pioneers chatting forward here though. On there and across negative to cover the section. They some good hits in there. Possibly taking out the Sturm Pioneers. If they do get close, they might have a better chance. The problem is they're still up against a 5-man section heavy cover. Looks like in this case it did work out. They was pretty close for the Sturm Pioneers. Bit of bad luck and that could have tilted around him. And up north here, sandbags turning to be a disadvantage there for Caesar, as his opponent usually used them against the machine gun. And in position a bit different, these wouldn't be able to grab the point. In fact, if you try to lay them up, some his opponent would have, run into the mine to try and grab it. So a bit of an unfortunate development there for Caesar. In the south, a tempo push through is thwarted by the Vickers, though an incendiary grenade does push it a bit away, but not all the way back to the base. Caesar committing more resources to reclaim the north once more here from Zyswen. Machine guns laying in the pressure. There we go. fuel point north gravity and deny it to Caesar. Zyswen is closing in there on the potential Valentine tank. I mean, otherwise he should just be taking up now and push for mediums, I think. Since he should have the a resource. In fact, he has more than enough resource to get pushing for medium armor, so...
The front line could be lit up shortly. Ready to bombard with the base howitzers.
Yeah. Looks like my instincts were correct. This is gonna be a Valentine match. The British are apparently taking a page out of the Soviet Book of War and going, you know what, Winston? What do you say, Monty? I do say quantity has a quality of its own. Oh, you do have something there. And I mean, Churchill wasn't exactly always the humanitarian. I mean, he actually considered gassing the Germans with, chemical weaponry, that is. Not in concentration camps, obviously. And certainly ordered a certain fellow defending Singapore to fight to the last man. So, it wasn't always the nicest. Theoretically, could have pulled it, I guess, but though, of course, not likely since they didn't have the manpower for it. Anyway, Zyswen's going to, be rushing in those tanks, which, by the way, are slightly cheaper than the T-34s from the 6. Biggest they're close to being taken up by the light infantry gun. That's going to help Caesar a bit here, but he's going to need some serious anti-tank firepower to start what's about to hit him. Section standing about in the center. We've got machine moving up. Looks like a mistake here by Caesar. That needs to retreat, not move forwards. Oh dear, that's a mistake. That's a misclick or something else happening. The forces need to retreat, by the way. Oh dear, we could see two ups against Caesar. That'd be critical. And losing the machine gun there, I think, was a mistake there by Caesar. I'm not entirely sure how it worked out, by the way. First Valentine tank out, and again, nowadays, if they go for one, they're going to be going for a lot more. So right now, Caesar, by the way, has got no anti-tank weapons. He's about to get hit by the Valentine Mark 11 tank. Running up there with the 75mm gun, catching Caesar's beleaguered troops out in the open. He's just managed to grab the machine gun back, at least for now. Trap Hunter Corps going up there, but it's going to be some time for him to get out any armor, or any anti-tank weapon for that matter, to try and stop the Valentine that's rampaging through his lines. The Valentine was what the British called an infantry tank, so essentially it was one of their heavy tanks, so obviously only really good in the early war for that bit. And gave some of the early German anti-tank guns a bit of a hard time due to that. But by late war, not particularly heavily armoured. Most of them, I believe, were used for artillery observation. Duty section there caught, but the Scrap Hunter Corps preparing wasn't finished. It took quite a bit of damage. Kholodny on the way, and he's, I believe, calling in artillery summer. Is it against this? Yeah. He's got that one standing off. Of course, he hasn't upgraded to the company command post. He's only got 125-pound gun hammering away there, so that might just ensure Caesar doesn't lose it. But Zyswen has, with this, rather pushed Caesar on the defensive there and cut him off most of his territory. He needs to do something to turn this around, otherwise Caesar could find himself crushed beneath a tide of tanks. Zyswen, though, is actually now taking up instead of pushing up more Valentines and in choice here. Possibly in response to the Scrap Hunter Corps. He's a bit unsure whether the Valentines can handle it on their own. If he just get enough of them, he could probably do it anyways, but there's like the possibilities where that Caesar's going to push for a Panther. And he's going to need a lot of Valentines to have a chance of that, so you might just figure he's going to go for the Firefly instead, just to deal with that possibility. We'll of course have to see what ends up here between Zyswen and Caesar, but either way, it's Valentine time. It's a bit of quiet here. Caesar's trying to rebuild his forces, push ahead. He's about to lose the fuel point again here to Zyswen, who's being very fastidious with that. Early warning here to pop flares across the entire front line to get an idea of further what Caesar's doing. He's trying to predict his attacks.
Ready to move.
Not a bad idea at all. McKenna lands a nice hit there on the Valentine tank. His first and only anti-tank weapon so far. There we go, big push back up machine guns. Caesar's taking no chances here versus Zyswen. Stand in the centre. Valentine could do some repairs before pushing ahead. We got to push into the south. That's what by Caesar. Kholodny backing up, having no idea where the tank is. And there you go up north. The folks get assaulting the house, clearing out Zyswen's men. Evicting them like the rowdy tenants they are. There we go. Damaged engine almost taking out. Here's Zyswen Valentine tank popping the smoke screen over there as well. Very nice. It's actually an ability he used a lot. Part because, well, he can find the move, it sort of tends to stop up the tanks. It does, manage it a bit more, but still popped a rather large volley of smoke grenades there. Nice work, I suppose, there by Zyswen. I think it's actually one of the few times actually someone over just used the ability. I mean, despite so many players going for a lot of Valentines, they do tend to actually use the smoke screen ability. Despite that, could actually help them push forward with the tanks more aggressively. So far, though, Caesar hasn't yet to make any use of his doctrine. I mean, we haven't seen any mines, bunkers, flak emplacements, tank traps, or anything like that. Compared to Zyswen, so far used 3 abilities, including the Valentine there. Looks like he was brief. Continue to there's some sort of weird glitch. There we go, Tilly firing off, of course, now with the company command post upgrade. He's calling it Cromwell. He can begin firing both 25-pounder guns at Caesar. Valentine's they're going to get fixed up. Close to veterans 1. 3 kills so far. Up north, machine gun getting hammered here by Zyswen's artillery. So far, mostly seems to be the trees and the local fences. They're getting hammered by Zyswen's Royal Artillery. Cromwell halfway down there for Zyswen. Caesar still sometimes won't get out any tank. I mean, at this stage, a Panther would probably be the better choice here. In the south section, maybe against the foot in the south. And we got the section creeping on the center victory point there. Rifles in hand. Closing mentioned 1 there. Troops healing reinforcing. Up north, Orbs are out here for Caesar. That's a very good choice for all these sections, particularly since they're unupgraded. If he can just upgrade his Orbs, of course, they're going to really give Zyswen a rough time. Howitzer pack 40 also now available here to Caesar. I'd still recommend getting out a tank first, preferably a Panther before considering any of that. 11 kills since Zyswen sniper. There you go, we got the Cromwell northwards. Valentine hitting southwards as Caesar makes 2 pushes there, leaving the centre rather, well, untouched. Cromwell's all in the move here. Machine gun gonna get routed here, so it has absolutely no way stopping that Cromwell tank. In the south, forces being routed here. Zyswen is sweeping through there. Valentine there is closing the veterans 1 still. Not really much more here. Zyswen are playing it a lot more passively now than he used to. Got the Orbs done acting in defense of the field point there. Caesar needs that field. He needs those panzers. Valentine riding up north here. We've got the Cromwell and the Orbs on a forced retreat here, leaving the field point exposed, leaving Caesar exposed. So how he's going to turn that on. He's sending like Kholodny for north to try and help deal with that. They got the sniper signal out for the centre. In Zyswen's base, nothing is happening. In Caesar's base, it's mostly hitting reinforcing. And he's going for the Panther force. He's not going to stall for the Panther. I can understand why. I do still think a Panther would have been the best choice. You know, there are a few more risks. It would have been, I think, more suited dealing with both the Cromwell and the Valentine. Any more tanks that Zyswen might get. But I'm guessing there's a sense of urgency here by Caesar, and he just feels like he cannot afford to wait for it. Which is certainly a valid concern. Still punching their dealing with the section up close, gunning them down. There we go, slowly winning the engagement here with a well-placed assault rifle fire. Line gun opening up, fuel point lost again here to Zyswen. He has been very consistent with his fuel harassment against Caesar, controlling it quite expertly, and leaving Caesar rather sad. And we even got a mortar in place now going for Zyswen. He's doubling down the artillery. Caesar's down to 200 points. He's going to have to do some hard work to turn this around at this stage. He's going to do it soon. Can't really afford to sort of wait for much longer before he just straight up runs out of victory points. The situation for Caesar and the 9th Panzer Division is a bit sticky here versus the 7th Armored, who's so far in good control there, in part due to that early Valentine, but also just good aggressive attacks and good fuel harassment, ensuring that Caesar is notably behind Zyswen. There we go, nice hit there. Cromwell down to half health. Smoking down to cover the retreat further. Got the orbital there with an LMG-34 as well. Very good, so good, so good. Mortar so far doing nothing. Got artillery flares off here for Zyswen again, trying to see what he's up to. And there he goes, spotting some southern movements here, sending in the Valentine to immediately deal with these Hun interlopers, scaring off the Jerrys. Up north of the assault contingent from Caesar, infantry pouring through the smoke, outmaneuvering here the section in the house, Panther forming artillery raining down as well. And snipes Paul Lawrence with a high explosive shell. Section machine gun standing about on watch. Got the Panther forming up here, backed up with footprint is straight ahead here. Worth noting that this Sergeant has no anti-tank weapons up, so just has to rely on the Cromwell and the Valentine. He does the Panther until then. Small chance there for Caesar to do something, though, of course, once the 6-pounder gun arrives, he's going to be a bit more trouble. And there you go, jam turning on the Panther 4 from the sniper. Nice work there by Zyswen. More artillery raining down here. Sergeant continues to fight around the centre. Volunteers need to retreat soon. Zyswen continues to just take advantage of Caesar here falling back from the centre. Relying on raw firepower here. Mortar opening up as well to further make it hard here for Caesar to defend and fight. And we got artillery called in here on the house. There's machine gun nest there, getting hit by 25-pounder gun fire. 129 versus 384. The situation is looking a bit worrying there for Caesar. And the 9th Panzer is shown as Zyswen is continuing to lead up here aggressively. And he's going for the Firefly as well. He is taking no chances. He wants to bring up the big guns. All of a sudden, like the church here, need to be careful getting blasted. We got further artillery raining down here. House collapsed. And another sneaking move here from Caesar in the south, hitting the victory point there. Very good. Caesar has yet to make any use of the doctrine so far, though. No S-mines, no tank traps, no machine gun emplacements, mines, whatever. Machine gun now routed. Bit of respite there, I suppose, for Caesar. There you go. Panther can't take him off to help defend the field point to keep it out of Zyswen's hands. As he can't really afford to further fall behind Zyswen in fuel. Cancelling the Firefly, by the way. He's going straight to animal tactics. He's going to go for the Churchill tank instead. Zyswen is feeling bullish. He's going to commit to his heavy tanks, well, his infantry tanks of the bigger kind. So that way, try and roll over Caesar. We're saying with his Panther 4 and a single cannon. Well, he's got 2 now, but still struggle against the Churchill since he can take up some serious firepower. 113 points left for Caesar versus Zyswen's 384. Quite a chance of hitting it for the centre. In the south, we got the Valentine there, leading the effort. Gaining veterans one, very nice. Falls to the fun against the sniper. Oh dear, Zyswen was incautious, and Caesar gets the wipe, smoking off from the Cromwell, but too late to save the sniper. He found his life cut short by a bunch of rather ticked off Germans.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Caesar making better progress in the south centre now, hitting the victory points there. He's down to 108 though versus Zyswen's 382. Artillery fire raining down, follows they're being pushed away, though not quite routed. More artillery fire raining down here. What will Caesar go for next? Panther? And what, another Panzer for a Yak Panzer? I suppose it depends on how quickly Zyswen gets out his Churchill tank and then hits Caesar with it. But he should more or less have the resource now to begin building it, and there we go. As I say that, he begins building it.
Emplacement under attack.
Kendring into with the advancing Valentine there. Nice hit there, piercing the Valentine's armor easily. Perhaps a bit too slow, and there you go. Smoke's going off here. Zyswen takes no chances. In the centre, push here made by Zyswen that is encountering a serious German resistance and is really failing to make any headway. At least he's not suffering any casualties either. Churchill tank almost down there for Zyswen, and the 7th Armoured not far off. 6-pounder gun moving up, more to the hanging back here. Valentine need repairs. Cromwell is good to go. These are the remains at 108. He's managed to stall at least things for now. But the question is, how long can he still keep things going as is? He needs some bigger tools to pressure Zyswen, because Zyswen's about to hit him with a really big tank. And alright, what's this? We got a Flak Emplacement. Someone actually built a Flak Emplacement. Good God. Now that's interesting. Defending the northern point, we've got an S-mine field here as well. That is some very thorough defense. Even we've got minesweepers up. He's going to encounter something he can't just deal with using a minesweeper. Of course, he's going to need some men to tank them, so otherwise Zyswen could just single tank through it all. But, you know, at least it's going to quiet tank, and then he could maybe make some predictions there. We got artillery flares off here. Creeping up in the centre victor, Panzer repositioning. Oh, grenade here on the treating forces. Almost got them. In fact, with that grenade, nice work there by Zyswen. Orbison could be the next target here for Zyswen's Armoured Wrath. And there we go. Cromwell flanking with a Panther like Kedden after taking heavy damage down to half health, smoking off. Very nice. Orbison need to get out of there. S-Man's going off here in the section, causing numerous casualties there to Zyswen's troops. Light infantry going down, light going to destroy that one with Churchill. There we go, denying Caesar's artillery, and Caesar here feeling the pressure, feeling the heat from the British furnace. Goes for the Jagdpanzer. Technically the version that we see here in the game is actually the Panzer 4-70V, which stands for Wohlmark. There's also one version made by Alkit, which is all of the ones that made the Stuke 3, but that one had a much more boxy sort of side to it, which rather made it obviously too big, since it had a much higher profile, and it was rather sort of used as a reserve tank. Units that you couldn't get access to a regular tank. But it was named that. I imagine that's only a deception measure to make the Allies think they actually managed to get a Panther 4 with a gun of a Panther. They hadn't. The gun was too big. And it was actually even a bit too big for the Jagdpanzer, and actually struggled to do with that. But there you go, Panther 4 taking hits here from the 6-pounder gun like Kedden following up. Churchill down to less than half health. Jagdpanzer down, Panther 4 needs to fall back. 6-pounder gun opening up, Churchill opening up in the south. Cromwell and Valentine striking the Sturm Pioneers here. Risk losing the Panther 4 if he's not careful. Kedden retreating, troops being suppressed in the centre by the machine gun. And sweeping up here with this. With minesweepers, very nice. By the south is lost here to the British Army. Got the Valentine, the Cromwell in here. Panther 4 falling back halfway to veteran defeat. Valentine gaining veteran in the centre. We got the Jagdpanzer in fort there. Smokeson going down here. From Mr. Zyswen using the mortar emplacement. That very nice work there. Very nice. Thumbs up to that one. Sappers standing about to clearing out the S-mines now. Of course, they'll find something. They cannot clear. Mind you, most Susan and the Flaks were usually used in a bit more of a mobile fashion, since they did have wheels that you quickly cut around on. Fun fact. And in that sense, they kind of used, like, you know, heavy machine guns to back up infantry doing attacks and support them doing defenses. So a little fun fact there about those. Cromwell opening on their full grenadiers. Up north, there we go. S-mines further preventing any successful pushes. I mean, it's a rather thorough defense here by Caesar. The only thing it's lacking is essentially something to stop a vehicle attack with. Cromwell move for the centre. We got the Jagdpanzer. We got the Panther 4 here. Jagdpanzer lands a nice hit on the Cromwell, almost taken out of north here. Sappers trying to clear out the mines now, encounter the Flak Emplacement, and poor Tommy gets blown to bits.
The capture point is being overrun.
Nice work there by Caesar. So we got S-mines, we got Flak Emplacements, at least 2 abilities of the Doctrine use. That's better. Part of me kind of wanted to go for more Flak Emplacements. I understand why he's not just building them willy-nilly, but it would be neat. There, of course, was also the improved version known as the Flak Feeling, which had 4 guns rather than just 1. But as the war progressed, they were increasingly used against ground targets, as most aircraft were getting up armoured, so they couldn't really do much against them. So they were primarily used against, infantry light vehicles by 1944-45, if I'm not entirely mistaken. They even formed up Flak Abteilungen, which is essentially flak assault units, further indicating those meant to be used at ground targets. Try on the way there though for Caesar. That's going to be like their mechanized artillery repairs and such. Might also be set up for King Tiger in the long run if he can stall for that long, though whether he should, of course, is another story, but my immediate response would probably be probably not. Lots of S-man, so that's absolutely impressive work there. Great to someone who knows how good they are. Machine there being routed. It seems like Zyswen for now is getting out in the north here due to the presence of the Flak Emplacement. Panzer up and the advancing British infantry. Almost virtually free, which is pretty good there for Caesar, less good for Zyswen. S-man's going up there due to the mortar fire. Zyswen, I think, like, is playing a bit too passively. I mean, he's not using his tanks in sort of a coordinated manner at times, which is certainly making it easier for Caesar to remain in the offensive versus Zyswen. So in that regard, Zyswen probably should be considering his tactics now and try and launch, a big assault that can throw back Caesar a bit. Of course, the question is, can he pull it off? But he should, I think, try for it. Because Zyswen increasing the one defending himself against Caesar's attacks. Churchill is on the move. Should back it up with more tanks and some infantry. Mechanized regiment still not happening there for Caesar. And there you go, Churchill moving through the south. Jagdpanzer flank, that's a bit unpleasant there for Caesar. And there you go, Panzer 1 gate for the Churchill tank. Easily piercing the front armor. Jagdpanzer trying to come in to catch it. Shots fired. One penetrating in the Churchill tank. No one from the Panzer 4. Panzer 4 taking a lot of damage. There's a blitz and loses the Panzer 4 here. Veteran free as well to Zyswen. That's quite a blow there to Caesar. And the 9th Panzer Division of North Valentine about here. So what will Caesar do now? Go for another Jagdpanzer. Stall for the King Tiger. Go for a Panther. What is his battle plan here in response to the loss of his Panzer 4? Churchill moving through. Jagdpanzer in a bad spot. We got the Valentine zipping in as well. They're penetrating the frontal armor. 18 limits of slope. Oh, he's going to lose it. Oh, the Kenmans that appeared here out of nowhere and took out the Valentine. There's a bit of luck there for Caesar. There's still the Churchill getting another penetrating on the Jagdpanzer. Shot bouncy off the Churchill's armor. Drawn upon left here for Zyswen. He still has the lead over Caesar though. Cromwell though was all the way back in base and not supporting this. In the south we got machine gun holding about here. Heading for the centre there we got the Churchill in the way though. Jagdpanzer's going to need some repairs fast. Looking like Caesar might be stalling here for the Panther. And go defense of the centre of the MD, or the south of the MD-54. 6-pounder gun sitting up here, but probably needs to fall back as the foot's going to be advancing on it. There you go, grenades and heavy machine gun fire right side from troops from the centre. Morton placement of FT3, got another smoke screen off from him, very good.
We're losing a capture point.
Very good. Zyswen flooding a lot of resources. They can't do a lot with it. And Caesar commits to another Panzer 4 here. But I figured maybe a Panther would be Churchill about, but it seems like Caesar is of another opinion here. Close a bit of trouble there being routed by the Cromwell. Closing in eventually to the south point there, being fought over. Brutal hand-to-hand combat, but Zyswen comes out victorious over the machine gun. Flak Emplacement continues to have a nice time there. Panzer 4 halfway done there for Caesar. Back in Zyswen's space, we've finally got weapon racks being unlocked. Apparently they found the key finally. Nice hit there, the Cromwell by the Jagdpanzer, gaining veterans you want. Standoff here, victory points is 91 versus 178.
Extra firepower is now available.
There we go, Panzer 4 running, pin up machine gun being added, ground in the centre victory point, we got the Churchill on the move, we got Vickers supporting. Shot bounces from the Jagdpanzer. Hopefully the second shot penetrates, there we go, pierces the Churchill's thick frontal armour. Another shot went through as well. Panther moving for the south, they back up with the anti-tank weapons. We counter the British 6-pounder gun. Yak Panzer lands another hit, slowly approaching Vetchi 2, doing some heavy damage to the Churchill tank. Another shot bounces. The South Panther will go for the section, wiping it out. Big engagement, Cromwell down to half health, smoke's been popped. Sappers being routed, noting heavy engineers up there for Zyswen, 2 sections of them. Centre victory point rendered neutral. Sappers moving up. Ford's going to pop an anti-tank grenade, except they don't have the munitions, and the anti-tank and crew goes down here. Things are heating up once more as he's moving up the Cromwell to destroy and deny the 6-pounder gun there to Caesar, knowing he could very well grab it and turn against Zyswen. He did not want to risk that. Another hit there by the cannon from the Cromwell, almost taken out, but it remains and it escapes. Yak Panzer moving in here and shoots through the smoke, misses the Cromwell. Close one there. On the other hand, there's nothing that can really else punish it for it, because both are heavily damaged and catching out, and then we can destroy them. They can't quite easily flank it. Taking up the Churchill. Cromwell could be still on health again. He gets flanked, but there you go. Sappers moving up, anti-tank grenades could be an option here. Except they're not. So he continues here with the Yak Panther. He's pursuing Zyswen's armour through the base. Panther 4 taking a deep route to the flank behind. Nice work. They almost got the Churchill. You need to be careful here. Panther 4's going to go for it. He's going to take the possibly expected route there. Almost got it. Sappers still don't have enough munitions from the anti-tank grenade. Churchill almost done. Panther 4 flanking. Veggie 2 gain on the Churchill tank. Cromwell moving up behind the Yak Panther, but there you go. Both explode. And the Yak Panzer's Veggie 2 Zyswen's armoured force is gone. But he's got the fuel to replace it. He just needs the manpower. But right now, Caesar's got the upper hand in that one glorious move. Yak Panzer there needs to get out of there before it's destroyed. Firefly for Zyswen being attempted again. I don't think he's going to get that Yak Panzer home though. Destroying the mortar, placing the assembling tube, got all the victory points, getting the fuel.
Emplacement under attack.
Almost got the emplacement here, and that should be it.
Emplacement destroyed by the enemy.
Caesar now control most of the map here. Things have gone slightly awry here for Zyswen. What was once a glorious British army is now a band of rabble. As Caesar's Panther 4 unleashes hell upon the British troops. Getting another few kills, they're closing on Veggie 2. Yak Panther still in desperate need of repairs, need to get the Sturm Pioneers on that one. Truck still saying about they're doing absolutely nothing for Caesar, seems like he's forgotten about it. Entirely. Pushing into the base, you need to be careful. Got the Firefly in there, penetrating the Panther 4 Swan's armor easily. Yak Panther opening up, I need to open up the Firefly, he's going to risk losing it here. Oh, Scheiße. McKenna flanking the Firefly here. Yak Panther can't keep up pace. Big British short units of the machine being suppressed though. Yak Panzer down to the Firefly, but the Firefly can't really help versus all of Caesar's machine guns. And they're pretty much locking down any further attempts here by Zyswen. In theory, you could also rush to the northern ring, but again, that's where we got the Flak Emplacement. 74 points left here for Zyswen. 71. 68. More S-mounts here from Caesar. Troops sending out. Orbs on there, closing that to 3. 12 kills, very good. Another Panther 4 there for Caesar. And another Flak Emplacement. We actually got a match with 2 Flak Emplacements and a lot of S-mines. That is definitely not your average Oberkommando West versus Brit match. Though I'm a bit surprised Zyswen didn't just begin spamming the Valentines like most I think British players would have done. He just stuck to 1. Not necessarily saying that was a bad idea, but I'm just a bit surprised he didn't just commit 2 more of them. British blow up moving ahead and straight into the machine gun inside the house. The county's cleared out with machine gun fire. And the Firefly's not making any progress on. There we go. Nice being to call in Valentines again. We got sector artillery called in here. Or steering artillery. Just to make it harder here for Zyswen to push ahead.
25 points left.
23 points. 20. 17. Firefly moving through the steering artillery. Flag and flipping up with the Valentine up close. Bit of light damage. 8 points left. Troops being suppressed again. 5 points. I mean, he can destroy the Flak Emplacements all he wants. It's going to do him absolutely no good. 2 points left, and there you go. GG, game over. Victory for Caesar over Zyswen. A nasty battle here with some Flak Emplacements, which we again rarely get to see. Lots of S-March. We think at times help slow down Zyswen. Zyswen with Royal Artillery and some Valentines. But, I don't know. I think you could have committed to at least a few more of them. And I'm not entirely sure if the Church was the best morale. They might have benefited more from going for the Comet. But part of it, I think, was just Zyswen at some point just getting very defensive, not attacking enough, not putting enough pressure on Caesar. Allowing Caesar to more easily rebuild his forces, push back against Zyswen and outmaneuver, pushing him back there. But still, Zyswen was really in good control in the early game, certainly handling his fuel rationing quite well. It's just the mid to late game, he sort of began committing a few critical mistakes that allowed Caesar to regain control there. But well played there both. Well played by Caesar, so I hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell your friends, tell your family, but not your enemies. And remember, you do subscribe, remember to press the little bell button if you already haven't, because that way YouTube is more likely to actually remind you there's a video out. So this is Imperial Lane saying cheers, and thank you all for watching. You all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again. Tomorrow. Bye.